There are truths that were never meant to be comfortable, truths buried beneath centuries of sentiment, tradition, and social conditioning. Truths that threaten the foundation of modern illusions. And this is one of them. Women do not want you to find this video, not because it attacks them, not because it insults them, but because it exposes something they instinctively understand. That if a man wakes up, truly wakes up, he becomes untouchable, uncontrollable, and absolutely free. Arthur Schopenhauer, one of the most brutally honest minds in Western philosophy, said the quiet part out loud, and for that he was hated, ridiculed, silenced, but not wrong. This is what he saw, and this is what men still refuse to see. The nature of woman, according to Schopenhauer. To Schopenhauer, woman was not the fairer sex, but rather the more cunning one, the more instinctive, the more primal. He saw through the romantic illusions men had built around women, illusions of virtue, purity, and selflessness, and instead he described her in terms of biological purpose, evolutionary drive, and emotional manipulation. He wrote, "Woman is by nature meant to obey," not as an insult, but as an observation of ancient roles, where man's strength built civilizations and woman's subtlety preserved lineage. But modern man forgets, because modern man is conditioned to worship women, not to understand them. The illusion of female innocence. Schopenhauer warned, "The world has romanticized womanhood to the point of blindness. We're taught that a woman's tears are always sincere, that her intentions are always good, that her choices are always justified. But the reality, a woman can cry without feeling, she can love without loyalty, she can seduce without conscience." He wrote, "The fundamental fault in the character of woman is that she lacks a sense of justice. Again, not because she is evil, but because her nature is built around survival, not fairness, adaptation, not accountability." Modern men raised to idealize women are crushed the moment reality hits. That she can walk away with ease, replace you without blinking, use your empathy against you, not out of malice, but because nature never designed her to be your savior. She was designed to choose the strongest option available. Love, according to nature. To Schopenhauer, love is not some cosmic bond. It is biology, it is strategy, it is a temporary delusion created by nature to ensure reproduction. He called romantic love a deception practiced by nature. Think about that. Nature does not care about your heartbreak. It does not care about your poetry or devotion. It cares only about genes, which man can protect and woman can select. A woman's love, then, is conditional. Conditional on strength, confidence, status, and utility. Once that utility fades, so does her affection. That's not cruelty, that's design. Why this truth is hidden? Why don't men know this? Why isn't this taught? Because a man who sees clearly, who stops pedestalizing women, who masters his desires, becomes dangerous to a system built on male servitude. He no longer chases validation. He no longer sacrifices his mission for approval. He no longer allows his emotions to be manipulated. He becomes sovereign, and sovereignty cannot be controlled. So instead, the truth is buried, covered in guilt, shamed into silence, labeled as misogyny rather than realism. But men feel it. Deep down they know. Every betrayal, every manipulation, every hollow promise, it all starts to make sense when you stop believing the lie. The awakening. The moment a man embraces Schopenhauer's clarity, he doesn't become bitter. He becomes wise. He stops expecting women to be what they're not. He stops resenting them for acting in their own interest. And instead, he adjusts. He builds. He protects himself. He channels his energy not into chasing, but into creating. He no longer fears solitude because he's met himself in the mirror of pain. He no longer seeks a savior because he became one. And ironically, that's when women come crawling back. Not because they've changed, but because strength is magnetic and indifference is power. A message to the modern man. You don't need to hate women. You need to understand them. You don't need to avoid love. You need to stop being ruled by it. You don't need to isolate yourself. You need to prioritize yourself. Schopenhauer's warning is not a command to withdraw. It's a call to wake up. The world will try to sedate you with comfort, pleasure, and validation. Women will test you, tempt you, and if you're weak, they'll break you. But if you hold the line, if you stay grounded in truth, you become the one thing they cannot control. A man with purpose. And that is exactly why they don't want you to find this video. Because once you see, you can never unsee. And once you rise, you'll never kneel again. If you're a man who's ever been confused, if you've ever asked yourself why she changed, why she left, why she used you, then this video isn't just for you. It's about you. And Schopenhauer saw you coming. He saw the modern man centuries ago. Romantic, naive, emotionally enslaved. And he didn't laugh. He warned, you should treat a woman as an enemy, or you will soon become her victim. Not because women are evil, not because men are pure, but because truth doesn't care about your feelings. And the truth is this: if you don't understand the nature of woman, you will be destroyed by it. Schopenhauer's unfiltered view. Arthur Schopenhauer, the philosopher of pessimism, didn't write to please. He wrote to awaken. He described woman not as a goddess, not as a queen, but as nature's tool to propagate life, by any means necessary. Women are directly connected with the world of sense, with the present moment. They are instinct, not reason. This isn't hatred, it's biology with eyes wide open. A woman isn't guided by logic. She is guided by security, survival, and strategy. Where man creates meaning, woman adapts to dominance. And if you mistake her instincts for morality, you will suffer. The modern myth of equality. Today we are told that men and women are the same, that desires are equal, that feelings are mutual, but go deeper. When you lose your job, does her love remain the same? When you become vulnerable, does her attraction grow or vanish? Schopenhauer would say, look at nature. The nobler and more perfect a thing is, the later and more slowly does it mature. Woman by design matures faster, but she also decays faster. Her value, social, sexual, and evolutionary, is tied to time. Man, on the other hand, builds value with character, with discipline, with delay. Yet most men today rush to please, to chase, to impress. All while women sit back, observe, and choose. The hunter has become the hunted. Why women reject the truth? Why don't women want you to hear this? Because truth ruins the game. It breaks the spell. It ends the manipulation. A man who understands woman no longer chases her. He selects. He evaluates. He sets boundaries. He is no longer a boy begging for approval. He becomes a man building an empire. Women don't want that, not openly, because a man with power cannot be emotionally controlled. So they shame it. Call it toxic, call it cold. But what they really fear is that you might actually wake up. Romantic delusion versus harsh reality. We are trained to believe in the love story, the one, the soulmate. But Schopenhauer saw love as an illusion imposed by nature to trick the individual into sacrificing for the species. That's why you loved her more than she loved you. That's why you forgave what she would never forgive. That's why you stayed when she walked away. You were under nature's hypnosis. She wasn't, because her role is to secure the best option, not the most loyal one. And once you are no longer the best option, she forgets your name. It hurts, but it also frees you, because now you see the game. The Stoic response. So what now? Do you hate women? Do you isolate yourself? Number, you evolve. You stop blaming, you stop begging, you stop bleeding for someone who would replace you within days. You embrace the Stoic path. Control what you can, accept what you cannot, master your desires, build your legacy. Schopenhauer didn't say, withdraw from women. He said, know them, so you never again lose yourself in them. The male renaissance. We are entering a new age, not of war, not of violence, but of awakening, where men rise not to dominate women, but to reclaim themselves, where the weak man vanishes and the strong man emerges in silence, unafraid of solitude, unafraid of loss, unafraid of truth. This is what women fear the most, not a man who hates them, but a man who doesn't need them. That is power, and power is earned. Final words. This video was not meant to be popular. It was meant to be found by the few, the ones who are done lying to themselves, the ones who've been broken, betrayed, and abandoned, and still rise. Schopenhauer didn't write for applause. He wrote for men like you. Now the question is, will you stay asleep or will you rise? Because once you know the truth, you can't go back. And once you become the man who sees clearly, she can no longer control you. And that's exactly why she didn't want you to find this video. Begin with silence. Before we begin, take a breath, because what you're about to hear is not meant to comfort you, it's meant to awaken you. You see, what men today are lost, not because they are weak, but because they've been lied to. Lied to about love, about women, about their purpose, and no one dares speak the truth, except Schopenhauer did. The cult of the feminine. In today's world, women are worshipped, advertised as pure, noble, wise, emotionally superior. But Schopenhauer saw through it. He stripped away the illusion. Woman is an animal with long hair and short ideas. Harsh? Yes. But his goal was not to flatter, it was to reveal. He wasn't speaking about individuals. He was speaking about nature. Nature doesn't care about your modern morals. It only cares about results. Women as nature's agents. According to Schopenhauer, women are not evil. They're not angels either. They are, simply put, nature's agents. Agents of survival. Agents of manipulation. Agents of continuation. She tests. She tempts. She selects. And when you no longer offer what she seeks, she replaces. It's not cruelty, it's instinct. To resent her for this is to resent gravity for pulling you down. Why men are broken? Men are not broken because women are cruel. Men are broken because they believe the fairy tale. The fairy tale that told you, if you're good enough, kind enough, loyal enough, she'll stay. But the reality, she doesn't stay because of your goodness. She stays because of your value. And when your value drops, so does her loyalty. Schopenhauer knew, the man who loves blindly will die slowly, because love, in its rawest form, is not mutual. It is transactional. Emotional dependency is slavery. The modern man is emotionally enslaved. He needs her approval. He needs her affection. He needs her presence to feel like a man. Schopenhauer spits in the face of that need. He teaches us that to be ruled by emotion, to build your world around a woman's acceptance, is to hand over your sovereignty. A man must be indifferent to validation, not heartless, but unshakable. Because once a woman senses that you need her, she loses attraction and gains control. What they don't want you to know. This is why women don't want you to find this video. Because the moment you internalize this truth, you stop chasing, you stop pleading, you stop putting her above your purpose. And that's terrifying to the system. Because when men awaken, they stop playing the role they've been assigned. They stop sacrificing their strength for comfort. They stop funding attention economies. They stop obeying narratives that weaken them. They rise, a man reborn. Once you've seen the truth, you have two choices. Deny it, return to sleep. Pretend love is magic and women are angels. Accept it. And rebuild yourself as a man with eyes wide open. If you choose the second path, something remarkable happens. You become more attractive because you're detached. You become more dangerous because you're focused. You become more peaceful because you no longer chase illusions. You don't need to hate women. You need to outgrow the version of yourself that needed them to complete you. A real man isn't anti-woman. He's simply immune to her power over him. Final words, the silent revolution. This is a silent revolution, a rebellion that doesn't need banners or protests, just awareness. Men are waking up, not to hate, but to reclaim their time, their energy, their soul. Schopenhauer didn't hate women, he just understood them. And he warned you. So now that you've heard this, now that you've seen the truth, you must decide. Do you fall back asleep? Or do you rise as the man who cannot be deceived? Because once you do, you will never kneel again, not to lies, not to lust, and certainly not to illusions. There is a type of man who doesn't rise through charm, money, or image, but through discipline, through scars, through hard-earned stillness. He is not the loudest man in the room. He doesn't chase attention, nor does he run from solitude. He walks into each room with a presence forged from struggle, from letting go, from facing himself in the dark and deciding no more. He knows now that strength isn't just in muscle or voice, but in what you refuse to tolerate. Before, he thought boundaries were walls to keep love out. Now he understands. They are filters. They do not repel the feminine. They refine it. They separate the ones who want access to his life from those who've earned it. Because not every woman deserves the fullness of who he is. A woman might be beautiful. She might be intelligent. She might even be emotionally expressive. But if she doesn't come with respect, he doesn't stay. Not out of pride, out of principle. He no longer entertains drama dressed as passion. He no longer mistakes emotional chaos for depth. He no longer clings to people who test his value under the mask of love. And most of all, he no longer betrays himself just to be chosen. Because he understands if you have to lose yourself to keep her, you've already lost everything. So now he lives slower, quieter, but deeper. He listens more, but speaks with finality. He smiles less, but when he does, it's real. He gives less of himself, but what he gives fully. Women feel something different around him. They feel safe, but not in control. They sense his kindness, but also that he will walk away the moment it's abused. They feel his desire, but also his detachment. This creates a tension, the kind that awakens them, challenges them, grounds them. Because women do not truly respect the man who is always available, always agreeing, always bending. They respect the man who holds his frame even when tempted. The man who can love deeply but never cling. The man who is unafraid to say no, even if it means being alone. In the past, he confused silence with peace. Now he knows better. Real peace has boundaries. Real love has structure. And real masculinity doesn't fear the feminine. It simply doesn't submit to it. That's why she respects him. Because she sees that he is not looking for a mother, a savior, or a fantasy. He is not searching for someone to complete him. He is already complete. He welcomes love, but only the kind that nourishes, not drains. He welcomes intimacy, but only when it's offered with honesty. He welcomes connection, but only when it doesn't cost his soul. This is a new kind of man. Or perhaps the return of the old one, the stoic, the grounded, the resolute. He doesn't need applause. He doesn't need to be feared. He only needs to be clear. And that clarity of who he is and what he will allow is the reason he moves through life not begging for respect, but embodying it. He is no longer in a rush, not to explain, not to prove, not to be chosen. He has realized something most men never do, that the more you seek to be understood by others, the more you lose your ability to understand yourself. So now he speaks less, listens more, and acts only when it aligns with his core. He has outgrown the need to argue. He has outgrown emotional ping pong. He does not feed chaos just because it demands attention. He simply observes. And if the energy doesn't feel clean, he leaves. There is no longer desperation in his love, only presence. He does not try to fix broken people who refuse to heal. He does not hold hands with someone who keeps choosing fire while asking for water. He does not entertain apologies that come without changed behavior, because he finally respects himself enough to walk away from what disrespects him, even if it once meant the world. And the irony, the moment he let go of chasing respect, it began to follow him, quietly, naturally, authentically. He is not unavailable. He is selective. He is not cold. He is centered. He is not arrogant. He is clear. And that clarity is rare. Most men are still trying to earn love through effort, bending backwards hoping to impress someone who doesn't even know how to receive it. They burn themselves out trying to fix what was never theirs to carry. But he has learned the truth. Effort means nothing in the wrong direction. So now he doesn't invest in potential. He watches patterns. He doesn't believe in promises. He believes in consistency. He doesn't fall for words. He watches energy. He knows now that attraction is common, but respect is rare. And if a woman cannot respect his standards, she cannot keep his presence. This doesn't make him hard, it makes him wise. He still believes in love, but not the version the world sells. Not the one where a man sacrifices everything just to be tolerated. He believes in a love that builds, not breaks, that aligns, not drains, that reciprocates, not manipulates. Chapter 6, The Stoic Way Forward. What then is the solution? Should you hate women? Should you avoid them? Not necessarily. You should understand them. Study them. Accept them as they are, not as you wish them to be. And then, transcend the need for them. Let her presence enhance your life, not define it. Let her beauty inspire you, not enslave you. Be kind, but not weak. Be generous, but not desperate. Be open, but not blind. The Stoics knew what Schopenhauer reinforced. Control begins within. You cannot change her nature, but you can change how you react to it. Chapter 7. This is why they fear you. Now you understand why this message is dangerous. Why women don't want you to hear this. Because an awakened man is not useful to their system. He doesn't buy validation. He doesn't waste time. He doesn't serve female approval. He creates, builds, leads. He doesn't blame women. He outgrows their power over him. And in doing so, he becomes the most attractive thing in the world. A man who doesn't care if she stays or goes. Final chapter. Your choice. You now stand at the crossroads. Behind you is the old self. Naive, emotional, dependent. Ahead of you is a different path. Lonelier perhaps, but real. Liberating. Unshakable. You must decide, will you continue to chase illusions? To beg for love that fades with time? To suffer for a fantasy? Or will you rise, build, detach, and become the man who cannot be shaken? Because once you see truth, you cannot unsee it. And when you become the man Schopenhauer wrote for, the one who sees clearly, feels deeply, but kneels to no one, you will finally understand why women did not want you to find this video.